This is TWiT.
Okay, so betraying our browser's autofill. Some researchers, and they've been busy at the Princeton Center for Information Technology Policy. We've had a couple of stories about their publications and research. That's at the freedomtotinker.com with hyphens, freedom-to-tinker.com site, where they blog about work that they're doing in privacy. They performed an extensive scan of the scripting being deployed by a bunch of the top internet websites, and they discovered something disturbing. They discovered that at least two commercial companies, one called AdThink at audience-insights.net. And Leo, my computer can't go there anymore because I don't want my computer to go there, but yours can. So, and our listeners can. Go to audience-insights, all one word, .net. And you're going to find out what your ID on their network is. Mine is A008BC977D7 AA23 blah, blah, blah. And everyone apparently has a unique ID because this company has been tracking us for quite some time. Audience-insights.net. So when you go there, they say, what is it? And they say Audience Insights is a web application offering analysis and statistics based on anonymous data collection. Then they say how information is collected. Our partners' websites and applications host our program, which is to say JavaScript, that collects information and sends it to our servers where it is stored and analyzed. Okay. Then they happily tell me my own ID, that your ID on our network is, and then that long string of looks like hex gibberish. Then they ask themselves the question, what is collected? And they say, we collect only anonymous data through anonymous cookies and technologies. Okay, that's the and technologies part that record first events related to your activity on the partner's website, such as the number of pages viewed or your searches made on the partner's website. And I'll note that anyone who cares, who's running a web server, can easily determine that for themselves. So no third party is necessary. And second, information provided by trusted partners that may include socio-demographic data such as age range. Well, that's sort of the least of what they apparently collect, because the Princeton researchers discovered when they looked more closely at this code that birth date, age, gender, nationality, height, weight, body mass index.
Wait a minute, where are they getting this from?
Apparently, this is the data contributed by their trusted partners.
Jesus.
Eye color, net income, education, occupation, raw income, relationship states, seek for gender, MF, trans man, trans woman, or couple, pets, location with postal code, town, state, and country, loan type, amount, duration, and whether you're over indebted, insurance, both for car, motorbike, home, pet, health, and life.
Wow.
Card risk, including chargeback and fraud attempt, whether you have a car, and if so, make, model, type, registration, model year, and fuel type. I guess they want to know if it's
how do they know
electric,
all this?
Also, tobacco, alcohol, travel, from, to, departure, and return. And I love this, your car hire driver age. Oh, and hotel stars. Those are the categories which this script is apparently filtering through and sorting. Then they say, we do not collect any personal information. We do not know who you are. We do not know your residential address.
We know what kind of fuel your car uses.
They know what type of, apparently what your sexual preferences is for people you are seeking, and so on. So what they don't say in all of this happy page, and again, it's go to audienceinsights.net and you can learn your ID on their network. What they don't say is that they deploy, get this, Leo, hidden scripts running on these trusted partners' web pages, which deliberately trick the user's browser's auto form fill into populating the user's login username and password for that website, which then, after being hashed, is sent back to AdThink's server farm for collection. So, first of all, the data is hashed, so they're not obtaining, that is, the script is choosing to hash it. If the script chose not to hash it, or if because that data is being sent along with a cookie from the browser, they're able to link all this together. And also, since the problem with hashing is that their whole goal is this is a non-cookie form of tracking. But what the Princeton researchers found disturbing, aside from the breadth of information which they're hoping to collect from people, is that this is arguably abusing the browser's willingness to populate username and password fields on behalf of its user. So by hiding this browser autofill, they are getting hashes of the username, which are in many cases the user's email address, which gives them cross domain tracking because they'll get the same hash, and the user's password, which, if they're not using a separate password for every site they visit, will again create hash collisions, so they'll know that this user has popped up on a different site. So anyway, there are two domains, and the reason I said you need to go there and I can't is I immediately put static.audienceinsights.net into my system's hosts file, aiming it at 127.0.0.1, and API behavioralengine.com. I have all of this in the show notes for anyone who's interested. Those are the two companies that are doing this, that the Princeton researchers poking into like what current scripting behavior was causing passwords to be populated on invisible form fields. And I just, a quick hack is just to route those to local hosts so that our own browser is unable to perform unable to initiate a connection to them in order for this information to get populated. So what the researchers wrote was, quote, "We found two scripts using this technique to extract email addresses from login managers on the websites which embed them. These addresses are then hashed and sent to one or more third-party servers. These scripts were present on 1,110 of Alexa's top 1 million sites." So, okay, 0.1%, not a high percentage, but 1,000 of them, more than 1,000 of the top million. The process of detecting these scripts is described in our measurement methodology, they wrote, and I've got a link to their full PDF. Also, at webtransparency.cs.princeton.edu is a complete list of all the sites which are performing this autofill behavior, and there is over on GitHub, and also links here in the show notes, a list being maintained that looks like it's set up to drive pfSense for blocking any of these sites. The good news is I did a cursory scroll through, and I didn't see any major sites. This looks a little more like some of the more fringe sites are doing this, but unfortunately, this is an instance where any of these so-called trusted partners, I mean, they're not partners we trust. They're basically the other sites that these two ad companies are in cahoots with in order to build a database that they're able to somehow leverage for more profit. Oh, and there's also a demo page that I have a link to in the show notes, where you can go if you're curious to actually watch this script approach being leveraged. And so, the takeaway is, first of all, you may want to just black hole these two domains, static.audience.insights.net and API behavioral engine, or api.behavioralengine.com, if you object to this behavior. But this really begs the question. The obvious solution is for browsers not to be so quick to autofill. That is, maybe for them to be smart about whether the fields being shown are visible to the user. They should certainly be able to do that. And I remember you and I played with this whole autofill problem in a different instance months ago, where you discovered that that just the browser's information about us, which it has available to helpfully populate the form fields, could be brought up off screen, like at a -1000 coordinate of the screen, and not be visible.
Well, and this is also tied to the fact that we learned that you don't have to press the submit button for these fields to be read, right? That
correct.
These fields are available to the browser and the site without submit.
Exactly. And in fact, there's an on-change event which, for example, I use over in the password haystacks, where, think about it, as the user is typing, I'm updating the calculations about alphabet size and time required to brute force the password, on a character by character basis. So there's an on-change event which a field can be given such that when its contents changes, some script is notified. So the script would just sit there, and when the browser populates the field with the information, that fires off the on-change event. The JavaScript wakes up, responds to the event, hashes the data, and sends it off to the mothership. So as you said, Leo, the first problem is that this is done before you hit submit. And of course, from a UI standpoint, we probably need that to happen. The user needs to know whether their browser is going to populate the field or not. But it would be nice if, the only mitigation anyone has suggested, and there's been a lot of dialogue about this, is to not make it automatic, require some user interaction in order to cause the browser to fill the fields. But then, of course, that breaks the user experience. It's so handy and convenient to have this happen. So really, what I hope is that this will get enough attention that browser vendors will realize this convenience and really their responsibility to the user to do the right thing with the information the user has entrusted to the browser is being abused, and to come up with a way to block these scripts from being able to collect username and password data off screen. Because note that these guys are hashing this and not taking advantage of it. But if anybody else gets their script on someone's site that is able to do this, well, they're collecting usernames and passwords.
Right.
So, which is not a good thing.
These are first-party scripts, though, right? So an ad blocker probably wouldn't block them. Would Quad
That's
9?
probably
Somebody's
true.
asking if Quad 9 would block them. I think if it's a first-party script, they can't.
No. Now Quad 9 could blacklist those domains in order to prevent them, in order to prevent your
information back. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so that wouldn't be. That's So sending it to somebody is not who is a third party.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So again, as I was saying, I think we're going to have to see if browsers come up with a way of blocking this behavior. And once again, a feature that was intended to help us and to remain between, the site we're visiting and our browser has been compromised by companies saying to those sites, "Hey, give us." Put some of our script on your server so that, as you said, Leo, it becomes first-party script and then has access to everything that that site would normally have access to. I mean, this really is it's the fault of those websites hosting script which is sending their users' usernames and passwords to a third-party service, and presumably through some sort of financial arrangement. So creepy behavior, but nothing we can do unless our browsers behave themselves.